Hi guys, welcome to the relationship spread or X spread or on and off relationship spread. So let me explain to you how this works. I have developed this spread and initially I called it Cat Tarot Knows About Relationship Spread, but it got named by you X spread. Basically it is taking me through various categories, and let me explain to you what these categories are and why I'm choosing them. You're going to see in every reading these cards are lying down on the table, and this doesn't mean that the cards are exactly pulled out the same for all of the signs. It simply means that I'm trying to figure out what is in these categories and what is referring to your relationship. And by actually finding all these elements, I will be able to find out the quality of your relationship and project the future trajectory. So the very first card that I have in this spread is the Magician. The Magician, being a number 1, is the number of creation. It is somebody who really want to create something, but it's just like in a phase of thinking. It would be very much like when we show up for work and we are just starting to plan our day, but we are yet not putting our hands on it. It is somebody who really believes that he has all the tools, but he has to figure out how to use those tools. So in this category, I will be trying to figure out what tools your relationship has been given. So it is kind of like a very latent position where maybe you're not using them, maybe you are overusing them, maybe you never got the tools that can make this relationship working. So in this category, in your toolbox, I find out if this relationship basically is ever a starter. The next card I have picked is Temperance reversed. So Temperance is a really great card in the upright position. It talks about things meeting all the needs. So at the right time, in the right place, with the right person, with the right feeling, and it's kind of like that in the zone moment. Now it basically talks about balance. It talks about creation. Look at the fire is creating, like the flowers are growing. But when it's reversed, none of that is happening. So things are not coming together. People are not coming toward us. They are not understanding us. So in this category, I'm trying to figure out what glue your relationship needs. What are the items that you need to work on? Then in my personal readings, I also compare these two categories in the end just to see if you can actually surpass these pluses and minuses or what can be done. Then I'm taking Queen of Wands as a significator for one partner, and please disregard that this is a fire sign generic representation, because in this case I really want people to see themselves as the best possible. Because if, for example, this is an on and off relationship, you do want the person to come back to you and to think about the best you can achieve, and that's basically what happens. People don't come back to you hoping for the worst you are. So this is basically representing one basically partner or female partner. You pretty much know from the storyline which one it is. Then Eight of Wands is basically lots of things happening here. So Eight of Wands is going to come as a communication and energy between you and your partner. This is going to tell me if he or she will call, what kind of issues are happening behind the surface, and what really was the nature of the communication or of silence. Then Nine of Wands is representative of, let's say, for X relationship, because Knight of Wands is almost more important than King, because Knight is the one who is being sent to represent, to show off, and sometimes they're just showing the power when they're being sent to a battle. So in tarot, if this is representing your partner, you want to see your partner galloping toward you and not just sitting and waiting for the partner to be served, which kind of is the case of King of Wands. I will, however, use King of Wands for steady relationships, for some people kind of get in a rut and want to see what is going on, because then King of Wands is more appropriate in that situation. Then I have Judgment card. Well, Judgment card in some decks is being called Karma card. I consider both Judgment and Justice Karma cards. This one actually more so, because this one really talks about bringing the old things to the surface. And so I'm looking that line in time for your relationship and seeing what kind of things are surfacing. And this doesn't have to mean only about your relationship, because we are set of a sum of different life trajectories, and sometimes our buttons are being pushed, so that means something from the past has resurfaced. So two resurfacing things at the same time combined with the outside influence is what is creating a relationship. And I really want to see how is that positioning happening and what can be done with this. And lastly, the last category would be Four of Wands. It is a category of moving to the next level of happiness, of, you know, from liking each other to starting to go on a date, from dating someone to go in a serious relationship, from serious relationship to getting engaged, and so on. This is also going to tell me about the quality of your relationship, and also is going to be able to define if you should continue with that. So guys, now when you know what cards would mean, it's going to be much faster for me and easier for me to actually guide you through the categories. So for detailed explanation, you can also check on my website www.cattarot.ca, and please also via my website as well, you can get your own personal reading, which supersede any of the readings on the site, because it's only your vibration and not the vibration of many. Thanks very much. Love you. Hi Cancer, welcome to your June love reading to see the status of your relationship, if he's coming back, if she's coming back, and so on and so forth. Please also keep in mind that this is only a general reading, and that for your personal reading things can be very different, because here you have to take in account that there are many cross watchers, which means the people are watching their ex signs and they're like wondering what's happening maybe with the third person. So it's lots of people, lots of vibrations, so hence you kind of like pick pieces from everywhere. So if you skip the introduction and you don't know what categories mean, I'm just going to quickly say that these are cards are not pulled. These cards I'm using a significator for this particular category, as I want to find out about your relationship and all these aspects throughout the month. Okay, so Cancer, let's see the first week in your category of toolbox, what you have for your relationship. Wow, Queen of Wands, it's coming out here. And keep in mind that why I have two is that significators are pulled from a different deck, so that way I actually have additional input, which is the case here. So this is basically saying to me that somehow advantage, especially for you ladies, could be that in your relationship is that you can even not be fully yourself and not 100%. You can really operate in this particular relationship with, you know, half-mast, if you wish, right? So Temperance is telling me about what things need to be glued in this relationship and what has to happen for this to really work, right? Because we all know it's really easy the first month when we have all these butterflies, but then things start to get seriously, right? Serious. Wow. Seven of Swords. It's not my favorite card. So somebody's behaving in a sneaky way. So this needs repair. Like, I mean, the point here is not to undermine each other. The point here is like to work together, to kind of like be support to each other. So who is here taking the power away? Try to figure out, you know, what is the reason for somebody feeling so uncomfortable about themselves. Because when Seven of Swords show up, I always wonder what is it that is like wrong with you, right? Why don't you want to join humanity and be a human? Because somebody's just grabbing something they can get, right? At the same time, this is talking about somebody who just doesn't want to please the people, somebody who is nonconformist, claiming independence, which kind of is a problem in a relationship, right? That whole theory about independence in a relationship is wrong, because we have to be interdependent. For people who want to be in a relationship, who function well with another person, it doesn't mean that you can be independent, because you do have to make decisions and choices jointly with another person. So it's simply this is talking about learning how to live life both on your terms and terms with the other person. And certainly what needs to be repaired is approaching things diplomatically with the others. So this is going to represent you, which you came out over here as well, but one of you or your partner, how you're being seen, like what basically are emotions, what the partner think they can do to you, get from you, etc. The strength reversed. Well, you know, somehow you're being seen as not being strong. Somehow you're being maybe seen as, you know, being a pushover. Strength is kind of like a really important card, right? And with this card, like we're seeing a woman taming a lion, and this is kind of done in a really gentle, non-forceful way. It's also talking about endurance, right? And it's talking about going the distance and knowing that everything is happening with a timing, and that we have to be patient. Like when is this reversed? I would say, to me, usually speaks about somebody being non-committal, and you are maybe seen that way, that you don't want to move mountains for this person, and maybe hence you're kind of taking, like you are actually going, you are seen as maybe a little superficial, maybe you taking away what you can take away from a partner. And maybe this is why this card came out here as reverse, because Queen of Wands reverse talks about somebody who just looks her own beauty, and how actually skin deep is like reaction of the other people. So I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just saying this is how you're being seen. So what is in the category of communication and energy over here in between the two of you? Well, there is defensiveness, right? Like you can see this face, like, I mean, this is not somebody who really enjoys this situation. It could be arguing, and that's another 7, and 7s are not stable numbers, right? And also this, on the other hand, can look about you being personal best, going the distance, and again, being 7, you are non-conformist, right? But at the same time, this is talking about you being unstoppable, passionate, engaging, having actual advantages to your position. So if others are not happy, you know, with a course, you kind of don't let their concerns affect you. But then again, is this productive for a relationship? Or kind of like this kind of whole communication, maybe this is why you are not in a position of strength, because somebody is just like rolling over you, right? So what is your partner feeling about themselves? Well, they're a God-given gift, right? They're bringing all this happiness and kind of like the next level. So 10 of Cups generally is a good card. I'm kind of like having a hard time understanding somebody would really feel they're so amazing. Sure enough, we all have amazing elements of us, but that kind of can, to me, signify a tidbit of an arrogance, right? So look, the card is talking generally about serenity, peace, good fortune, and well-being. It kind of like all is well, kind of like, well, when it's talking about your partner, I am all well, right? I am the pleasure, I'm accomplished, I am the attention, the eyes have to be on me. It can also mean the partner is really willing to work on, but I'm seeing these 2 7s and this, so you have to figure out which one is you, because I see that in between the partners there is like this energy of not knowing where you are, right? let's see in the judgment. So now we have a King of Cups, which can represent you, which is kind of like a really good quality. King of Cups is nurturing quality. King of Cups is somebody who has what it takes in order to protect. It's kind of, for me, that probably will be the best father that you can find, right? Somebody you can go to and tell anything that you want. Somebody who's generous, diplomatic, gentle, and somebody who respects all beings, including, you know, pets, but of course including himself. So this is somebody, of course, the kings are in tarot representation of somebody who lead others, and this particular king lead others from fear and divisiveness into harmonious collaboration. So it could be, given that this is coming out in this category, that your partner, you may be expecting your partner to kind of like provide this guidance out. Maybe you are falling into hole. Maybe you, Cancer, develop some kind of mistrust or lost strength in this bond, and you're expecting the partner to actually right now show you their hand. So King of Wands, and look at this, now you have a Queen of Wands and King of Wands over here. Now this is really interesting. That's especially for the people who have been in a steady relationship or maybe in a marriage. Now we are talking about a couple, as you can see, but that is like reverse. A couple that is currently not a couple. This is going to really talk to people who are currently going through some, let's say, breakups, who are maybe not together. So it's saying that maybe somebody's unavailable. This can also mean that the partner is involved with somebody else. The partner hasn't been faithful. This can mean also that somebody's striving to have an ideal partner, and the other partner is, or maybe at the same time, failing to be a good partner and failing to be committed. Because now the Strength and King of Wands, one partner is certainly not very committed, but they might be telling you they are. They might be telling you they are all they are, and hence it's kind of creating this wedge, because you know it, somebody knows it on an intuitive level, but it's kind of like really hard to get through, right? So let's see the second week. Like, I'm in your toolbox, like somebody feels there's so many options. That could be you, Cancer. It's coming out in a cup, and it's another 7, so it's lots of instability this month for you. What needs to be fixed? Well, this is the ultimate masculine card, as you can see, right? It's kind of passion. It's kind of charging ahead. So this came reversed, meaning somebody extinguished the fire, and that fire has to be kind of nourished and placed back. And kind of these two things together are making me wonder, well, wait a minute, did you really want to go further ahead with this, right? And how is this really working if you don't want to ignite this fire? So how are you seeing the second week? Well, we have lots of people showing here. Queen of Pentacles is a good way to be seen. It's seen like through eyes of, that can be my wife. This person is hardworking. This person is reliable. I will be able to kind of like put my fate into everything with this pragmatic mother type who can actually pack lunches for the kids, who will take care of me, somebody who's grounded, really trustworthy, earthy, and kind of like gardener of life. Like you plant the seeds and you're waiting for them to kind of grow. It's just like kings, queens are also kind of leaders. Like they are talking about opportunities, they're talking about people being open and helpful. So certainly you're seen like in a really good way. This is kind of like being seen like almost like seductress, but this is seen like on the next level, right? So honesty and keeping it real. Communication, well, there is a problem, Houston. We have the Hermit, and Hermit is talking about time out. Somebody's clamping up. Maybe somebody had enough of arguing, and somebody had enough of up one, and right now there is a time to kind of like check out. or it's a time to kind of really go deep inside of you and figure out what is it you really want, right? Because usually what this card represents is not somebody kind of going around in robes and with a cane. It's talking about somebody seeking the truth, and that's the inside truth. So basically that kind of gives us the food for growth. It talks about getting a clear perspective on life, right? So let's see who needs that. Yeah, it looks like your partner needs that. And Two of Wands reverse, right? So here we are looking in somebody maybe partially succeeding, wondering in which direction to go. You see he's holding the globe, which actually represents his or her own world and where to go. So when is this reversed? It is saying, well, you know what, I am really not sure if I either want to focus in this direction, if I'm worthy, or, you know, like, I mean, how to go about that. So karma is saying, don't be foolish. And when Fool comes out, basically it's really still not an active phase, just not like Two. It's like still very much thinking phase. In which direction do I want to go? You're kind of like laying down groundwork for the future kind of progression. As far as kind of like getting together, well, this also I considered a karma card in addition to Judgment. Justice is more or less kind of balance, and when it comes in the reading, it tells me that this relationship is out of balance, right? Because it usually calls for balance, and it wouldn't call for balance if there is one. So it is the law of cause and effect, right, at play here. So it's kind of warning that maybe this can be a situation where your partner pulls Houdini on you, but it's saying do not overreact, don't be foolish. That's why this card came out here, because this is currently a balancing act, and just trust. You'll be seeing the evidence of this law. So if you do something bad, it's going to come and bite you. So be very careful, because here karma is the one who is observing you really closely. So let's see the last week in June. So in your toolbox, so there is like this feeling of Nine of Swords. Is the feeling of discomfort. It's certainly the feeling of what the heck is going on? Why is this not happening to me? As I call it, like, I mean, wash machine brain, like it just keeps spinning the same ideas over and over, right? It's truly a negative self-talk, and here is needed to shift it to self-compassion, right? Kind of this is a call for trusting, but since this is coming into your toolbox over here, it just like looks like that relationship you have can be ridden with anxiety, right? It's, after all, you're just a human. You kind of like have to go through motions as everybody else. So kind of like no sweat is easy to say, but that's pretty much what would be needed here. And what needs to be fixed is the harshness. I don't know, is it you who is affected, obviously in a very anxious way, but somebody is with how things are communicated. King of Swords can be really harsh energy, and you see, this is why Justice is here, because this can actually talk about deserved karma, and certainly somebody's going to be impacted with that quite a bit. How you're going to be seen? Well, again, Swords, and it's very much not your element, but come on. Two of Swords, she is close to her emotions, right? The water is behind her, blindfolded, and she's weighing two equal solutions, but not knowing what to do this way, right? We all get into this situation, and now you have like two swords in a row. It's going to be lots of things happening under the skin, lots of internal thoughts that's going to start in the week too. But look, there is some kind of brightness. The sun is coming out. There is this possibility of being joyful. There is possibility of starting to move on, because like this is after all moving on, good or bad, it is moving on. We are going to now soon see in which direction this is kind of going to go. But it's talking about abundance. It's talking about possibilities are again there. The sun is shining. So your partner is sitting still kind of like in a phase of, okay, what do I do? You see, Seven of Pentacles, as you can see, somebody is like watching everything that has been done up to that point, and it's kind of, things are not going to grow overnight. Things will take time to grow. And this is saying, okay, how long are you going to wait? And this is that stage when you have to reevaluate, is this going to work or is this not going to work? And it can also mean opening to new strategy, being at crossroads. Again, guys, it's a number 7. So how many do we have? All 7s? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Which one do I miss? Pentacles. Yeah, we have all 4 7s. It's going to be unstable month, guys. So all 4 7s means stabilizing every single level about who you want to be, and like you have a potential of kind of creating yourself and somebody really solid. So you're going to be fortunate about it, and hence the sun sort of, even though there'll be issues coming your way, I'm not going to hide it away from you, but you'll get lucky breaks about that. And even if things start to be completely embarrassing or even completely out of proportion, when you kind of drop your balls, you still will somehow overcome them. So let's see the first week in July, because I'm doing these readings now second week to the first week. It looks like there are still burdens here that need to be addressed. And you know, it's somebody wants to give up, somebody feels damaged, and looks like this week will be really tough, full of indecision. There is like, I mean, a 2 over here, and we had a 2 over here as well, and we have a 2. So you have 2s and 7s, and 2s are indecisions because you have them reversed, all 3 of them. So kind of like when the going gets tough, right? The tough gets going. So is it make it or break it over here? So some of you are saddened with what you observe, even though it can be only in your own head, right? See, this is the person who is like actually closing to solutions, turning their back to possible solutions, right? Because sometimes it's really easier to feel sorry about ourselves. Look, you have 5s again, and 5s are instability as well. So 5 and 7s usually show instability. So this is saying, okay, guys, time to get out of this kind of way of thinking. It is time to realize that you do have people who support you. It is time to realize that, you know, things are not as bad as they are. And then you have the High Priestess. This is talking about that your partner maybe has some secrets, or that your partner may be starting to have intuition. It's maybe starting to go deeper, because the High Priestess and the Moon card and Hermit are connected, right? And High Priestess is really talking about the depth of a person. So maybe a person, after all, here, it could be you, is the one who can really bring happiness. But you cannot bring happiness to someone who is not creating the same vibration, the same energy. So this is basically telling me about vibration, that this vibration, which can be kind of, which is affected with sadness and maybe with arguments, is like in jeopardy, and one partner really has to, like, I mean, do their own work in order to make this work. So Knight of Wands, which is your partner and it represents one of the partners, is coming out in a Judgment but reversed. So it could be that, again, we are seeing here a sense of giving up thing, But maybe that might not be permanent. Maybe this is going to be just a simple rest. Maybe it's just going to be too much to handle giving, and that could be you as well, Cancer, because your strength card, you were weakened from the very beginning, and it looks like these 2s and 5s that you have over here are attacking your system, and you're not being who you're supposed to be. So hence it's really difficult for you to make decision. And maybe also your interpretation of the facts is not what really seems. So guys, you're going to somehow recover in the 3rd week. You're going to kind of see things differently. So remember that, because I don't want you to right after that fall back and run away, because life is not easy and relationships are not easy. So just keep in mind that you or your partner are able to go deeper and to really find the source and tune in with that vibration. And that vibration, in fact, can be very healing for the both of you. So I have the other channel, Sapphire Dreams, and the link is in the description box. Guys, go and check how to raise your vibrations. It certainly helps, and it's really easy. It's as easy as cleaning your place, cleaning your closets, cleaning your fridge, you know, playing with your pets. Very simple, kind of practical steps. So guys, enjoy. I do love you. For your personal reading, please contact me, because your personal vibration could be something completely different. Take care. Love you.